Greetings, everyone. This is Gerard, editor-in-chief of Filipino Soul, and welcome to part 2 of my aquatic portion of the film. I'm sorry you folks out in New York got snow, but you know, hey, it's got to snow somewhere. I just met a brother inside the gym. He's from Vancouver, Washington, and he said he likes the snow. He said he doesn't like the Philippines because it's because of the heat. Oh, my brother, please. That's what it's about. As far as I'm concerned, I don't want to see any more snow ever again. I prayed that when I went back in October and November, I didn't see any, but it worked out fine. You know, I thought maybe today I'm going to talk about a couple more articles in the magazine. There's an article in there about a woman named Marjorie. Marjorie is a dentist. And it's funny because that's why I say anybody can be in my magazine. Because often the time when I meet someone, I talk to them and I come to find out that they have dreams or are working. I best look at it as working to change the condition of their life, you know. And she was my dentist, and I was talking to her. So after it was over with, I was like an interviewer. She said yes. When I was in Los Angeles, living there, everybody was a performer. Everybody was a singer. Everybody was talented. Everybody was trying to be something other than what they were doing because, you know, you had to get to somewhere. You had to do something to get to be somewhere else. Case in point, the mother of my kids, Diana. You know, now when Gianna and Janelle were being born, I had the foresight to know that mulatto kids were going to be the new wave of children that were going to be in the media, in the movies, you know, in the commercials, and etc. So when Gianna was born, I was taking a lot of pictures of her, you know, kind of like putting together her press kit, not press kit, just taking pictures. She was my favorite subject at the time, and I had did this one picture of her spec ad. A spec ad is when you take a product. You take a product. You know, you can photograph a model, and the model be doing it this by herself or whatever, and she might get kind of most times when you photograph people who've never been in front of the camera before, they have no idea of what they look like. They have no idea of what to do in front of a camera. And so I often did spec ads. A spec ad, I might go, this is here, sell this. Hi, hey, drink Gatorade, you know. You see, this takes the pressure off of them having to worry about them looking at the camera and they go, they can make all these faces, drink Gatorade, you know, you know. So that's what the spec ad is about. Often I would take a product and shoot around it with a model. Well, I did this with my oldest, Gianna, and I had a backdrop, and it was with Huggies. I set the tripod up, and I had Gianna standing behind the camera with the tripod, and she was taking. In fact, I'll post the picture. And there was Huggies on the backdrop, as if a baby was taking pictures of Huggies Pampers. So I sent the spec ad in the Huggies. Say, here, Huggies, this is spec ad. You know, would you consider, you know, paying me, you know, to do it or whatever? And after the time, you get this nice, polite letter saying, thank you very much for your interest in our product, but we're sorry at this time we cannot use it. So I said, okay, fine. Sometimes it's good. It's a good exercise in doing that, just to go through the process. About 3 or 4 months later, a lot of y'all may remember Huggies came out with a commercial that had a little kid with a little green beret, but except he had a movie camera and he was photographing Huggies. And I said, aha, they stole my idea. They didn't want to pay me for my idea, but what they did was that they elaborated on it, and as a result, you know, that kind of gave me a lesson about sending in spec ads to companies. Oftentimes, I just put them in their portfolio. So anyway, getting back to Gianna, you know, we had, I guess we had, worked with Gianna, invested in Gianna. Diana looked at it as investing in Gianna, because Diana had this illusion that Gianna was going to make it in the industry, that she was going to, make all this money and come back and take care of her. So she kind of put all her eggs in that basket. Janelle, on the other hand, by the time Janelle came around of age, I was moving too fast, and that kind of took a lot of interest and energy away from the family nucleus because of my moving too fast. And so a whole lot of pictures weren't taken as often or as many as Gianna, and by the time that time came around, I wasn't taking hardly any of Gianna at all. But anyway, that was the plan. So, but in the meantime, Gianna and Janelle are both going to ballet, dancing lessons, acting lessons, summer camps and all those type of things. And then when Gianna became of age, Diana mortgaged the house and gave Gianna all this money and told Gianna to go west, to seek your fame and fortune, because, I guess it was something that she had thought it was something that Gianna wanted to do. And, Gianna wasn't ready for it. She was very irresponsible. She'll make flight reservations and don't take the plane. I invited her to Bonnie's pre-Grammy party, and she came. She came with a young man, a friend of his, who helped drive. And I introduced her. I took Gianna around and had her take pictures of a lot of black celebrities, because if she ever was to make it in the industry, I wanted her to have that connection to Bonnie. Even with Janelle, when Janelle wanted to be in the entertainment business, when she was in California, I said, look, call Calamita Pittman. Calamita Pittman, who was Bonnie's right-hand person, married to Jerry Pittman, the first black limousine owner in Los Angeles, and we know there's a heaven up above. Bonnie's teaching people how to network. So I told Janelle, look, call Calamita and tell her you want to be her girl Friday, her apprentice. He said, why? I said, because you don't understand. Calamita is connected into the industry. Anybody and everybody who was putting together, Calamita was already doing big stage productions. She had this show about the Follies. She brought back the Follies. A lot of things that Janelle could have been a part of. I said, Janelle, you don't understand. For you being around Calamita, I'm sure there's going to be some producer, somebody's going to come around and say, you know what, I got a part for you. And, you never know. It could happen. But Janelle at that time couldn't understand the importance of being a Girl Friday. And let me tell a lot of you something. Sometimes, being an assistant to someone who is where you want to be, I think there's something about the Olsen twins. The Olsen twins, there's a story about the Olsen twins selling these purses for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and they're making all this money and having their interns work for free. You know what I'm saying? Because, which, hey, there's nothing wrong with that, because they're learning a lot. But at some point in time, come on, you got to pay them. But working as an intern to someone, I did it. I worked with Francesca Scabulo, the one who worked for the cover photographer for Cosmopolitan magazine. I would offer to work with Lamont McLemore, who shoot the cover magazine for Jet Magazine. I would offer to work for free just to be an apprentice, just to be an assistant, because you see, that's how you learn the craft. So anyway, Janelle never got the gist of that, and as a result, she never called Calamita, and Calamita to this day, she knows she exists because Janelle was with me when I went around kissing the rings once I decided to try to bring back the pre-Grammy party. So she did meet her, and of course, Janelle is gorgeous. You see my daughter. Both of them are. I finally admitted to Diana when on Gianna's birthday, I sent a picture. I finally told Diana, okay, Diana, after all these years, okay, I have to admit, you did contribute to Gianna. She's got your eyes. But anyway, so what happened was that when Gianna went to LA, she really wasn't ready for it. She wasn't mature enough to be able to do what she needed to do in order to be successful. In fact, at the pre-Grammy party, there was a male group I told her in my mind, I wouldn't repeat the story, and I'm not going to repeat the story. But the point of the matter is that she ended up without her car somewhere. She decided to ride with some of the guests, and she should not. And I explained to her that that's something you never do. You never give up your independence. You always make sure that you're able to get in and get out of any situation. And the best way to do that, if you have a car, don't leave it nowhere. Take it with you wherever you go. And it was funny because when Gianna had called me, she had called me, "Dad, can you come get me?" I said, "Well, where are you?" She said, "I don't know. Where are you?" I said, "Where are you?" I said, "I don't know." So I called Bonnie. I said, "Bonnie, what room, what hotel is that group using?" And so she told me the name of the group, the hotel. So I went to the hotel. I said, "Look, my daughter's here. Tell me what room they are in." And so he told me what room they're in. She came down, and we were very, very silent, during the ride. And I told her, I said, "Baby, I'm just going to say one thing. You never give up your independence." And I said, "You gave up your independence when you left your vehicle. Don't ever do that again." But the most hurting thing about that evening was that the young man that she was traveling with, he was going to take one of the biggest exams of his life to get into college. And his mother had been blowing up my phone because she knew what time he had to be there in order to take the exam, and he wasn't. He was in Los Angeles instead of where he was supposed to be in Oregon or wherever he was taking an exam. So as a result, not only did Gianna, learn a lesson for herself that night, but it also affected someone else where that may have affected him for the rest of his life. So being responsible is something that you have to do and be. But one thing I'm very grateful of is that after she had realized that wasn't what she could do, that she came home, because there are so many women out there, the horror stories, those who went out west for their fame and fortune and never made it and never found and oftentimes end up doing prostitution or something because they were too humiliated to want to come home and said they had failed, or they didn't do it, I thank God that she had enough sense to come home, and she did. So that was the end of her quest for claim to fame. She's doing wonderful things now. I'm still going to post a video. I'm going to show you that Janelle showed me. Timing is everything, because I like to do it in an environment where, I want it to be just me and you, so to speak. Okay? So anyway, this is Kwesi Selassie again. We spoke about him yesterday. Let me get back to the dentist. Okay. And then I'll sign off, because this has been an unusual day. So anyway, the dentist, Marjorie, was after I was telling you, anybody can be in a magazine because everybody has a dream or goal. I often ask them, "What's your claim to fame?" They say, "What do you mean?" I said, "What do you sing in the shower? Do you draw? Or are you a marathon runner? What is it you want to do in life other than working behind a cash register?" And often the time they do have one. So and that qualifies them to be in my magazine. It's just that simple. There's one girl, and then I'll finish with Marjorie. There's one girl who I photographed and one of the ads in the magazine called a strip club called Stonehenge. You may see me with the t-shirt sometime. And the Stonehenge was a big supporter of the magazine, so I would use his strippers, for the ads. And so I used this one, Honey, and she took some pictures of her. So about 3 years later, I saw her, and she was like, "Gerard," 3 or 4 years later, Gerard. So I said, "Yeah, honey, how are you? And she reached in her pocketbook, and she pulled out a copy of my magazine that had so much tape on it. It had been torn, dog-eared, and all that stuff. She said, "You see, I still got it." I was so touched. Oh my God, I was so touched that she carried my magazine with her every day. So don't nobody tell me how my magazine is not important to those who are in the magazine, because they most certainly are. And I'll tell you one more story about that. Did I tell you about Marjorie? I was youth advisor to this small group of youth. They just finished. This was the last summer for going to college, and the parents got together in a church, about 6 or 7 of them, and decided that they want to keep them scholastically ready to go into college. In other words, they weren't going to let them go astray now. They were very strict. They were from the islands, I don't know, Bahamas, Jamaica, somewhere. You know how they are strict with their children. And this one of the girls, she was very tall, much taller than the rest of them. She was kind of awkward looking, and usually tall people tend to walk humped over when they're around the other children because they feel awkward. And the other girls were very beautiful, very all done up with the nails, the hair, the clips, the braids, and all that stuff like this. Much different than her. So I could tell that she was, I could tell she could have used a pick-me-up. So at that time in the magazine, I had a column called Job Searcher. Job Searcher was like my disguise for my modeling page, where I would get a young girl who was looking for a job and put in Job Searcher, put in qualifications in it, etc. So I asked her, I said, would you like to be in my magazine? She said, yes. I said, I put you in my Job Searcher. So we went out and we photographed, of course, with her mother. I don't photograph anybody underage without their parents or an adult. So I photographed her and put it in a magazine. Her mother said, Gerard, she said, that changed her life. She said she got so confident. She became feeling so beautiful, so proud of herself. And she said, thank you, Gerard, thank you, thank you, thank you. I said, okay. Years later, I saw her and said, Gerard, she's a doctor now. I said, oh, really? Good, great. And she said, Gerard, in her office, she still has that page of your magazine hanging on the wall. I said, wow. That touches me knowing, again, how important it is. Now, let's finish with Marjorie so I can go. Okay, Marjorie was doing my teeth and everything. My teeth are real bad. That's one thing I want to have done here. My teeth, my eyeglass, and my rotated skull. So after we finished, I said, can I interview you, Marjorie? She said, yes. So I asked her, I said, Marjorie, I said, no, it's in the magazine, those you got it. I said, what was it that made you decide to become a dentist? She said, when I was a little girl, she said, when I was in the dentist chair, and the dentist had all these things in my mouth, she said, and the phone rang, and the receptionist answered the phone. And he was talking to the receptionist about cockfighting. And he wanted to know how much could he bet on a cockfight. She said she got so upset, so angry that he had left her like that she decided that when she grew up, that she was going to be a dentist and do the same thing to him. Well, lo and behold, she did become a dentist, but she didn't get, it wasn't a matter of revenge anymore. She turned it around and made it a commitment to herself to treat dental patients with a lot more dignity than the way she was treated. Okay, this is Gerard, editor-in-chief of Filipino Soul Magazine. Remember, dreams are nothing more than plans awaiting action. Dreams are nothing more than plans awaiting action. This is it says parental advisory, inspirational contents. It says it's a free publication, $4 for supporters. Never disrespect the elderly and always pull someone up. And sometimes, just some damn times, you may be the only one to see your vision. And if you're lucky enough to have a goal, if you don't have a goal or dream, don't worry about it. Do what I do. Get as much as you can, as fast as you can, and go home. And remember, I will always love you more. And hey, if you got a good woman like Ollie Woodson once sung about, treat her like a lady. And hey, lady, if you got a good man like me, make him feel like a king. I'll always love you more. I'll talk to you later. Peace. See you on your next snowy day. And again, you know, I pray for. I hope they get what they need from this guy from India or Pakistan or where he was, you know, who made an attempt to do a terrorist activity in New York. We don't need, the world don't need you, but we do need the information you have because it may save another life. I'll talk to you later. Peace.